Hello, Guardians, and welcome to Destiny Reset, episode 221. This show is about anything and everything related to the Destiny franchise. If you love playing Destiny 2 as much as we do, you're in the right place. This reset, we welcome Eva back to the tower to celebrate Festival of the Lost once again, talk about all the new content Bungie delivered this reset from dungeons to momentum control, and finally give some feedback on how Eververse impacts the bigger picture in Destiny 2. Hello, Guardians, and welcome. It's AER0KNIGHT and, of course, CyborgSasquatch. What's up, buddy?
Hello, how are you?
I am fantastic, except I'm trying to keep my voice. My voice is a little raspy. I'm hoping we make it through this thing and I still have one.
I told you not to have a screaming contest with Omnigul.
Telling you, it's one of those things. You got to do what you got to do, and now I'm
just couldn't help yourself.
Possibly not gonna make it through the show, but we're gonna try. We're gonna do our best.
I feel like I sound good AER0KNIGHT impression and talk to myself. If
that works.
To the end.
Yeah, it's better today than it was yesterday. We were originally gonna record yesterday, and it was almost like it was just in and out all day long. So hopefully, I got the door open so the room doesn't get too hot with all these electronics roaring, and maybe we can make it through this. Anyways, dude, how are you? How's everything going?
I'm doing all right. The time changed.
Yes, it did.
And we gained an hour. I should have gotten extra sleep, but I got less sleep.
Right.
I don't know how that worked.
It happens.
So it's been a long weekend, but that's just life.
And it already seemed like it was getting dark pretty quick, but now it's like, wow, okay. Dark before we get home. Those times start again.
We needed that change, though.
From work.
Shouldn't it get dark later now?
No, it's the opposite, right? Yeah, it's earlier.
Oh, man.
It'll get dark. This is when it starts to get dark before we even get home from work.
Oh, that's the worst.
It'll be all right.
It makes like driving home just feel like you've been having such a long day.
It's like bedtime when you get home. That's what it feels like. Time to go to bed.
Well, we've got some things to talk about this week.
Yes, we do.
One quick announcement before we get started. A reminder, if you're participating in the Game to Give campaign with Bungie, which is their charity event going right now, we've got a page for our team. It's helpmakemiracles.org/team/destiny-reset. Thanks to all the Guardians who have donated so far.
Yes.
We're $675 raised, and we've
still
got almost a week left to go. So if you're looking to have your own stream and want to join our team, you can do that. We had a couple Guardians join and do that. Or if you just want to donate a little money to a great organization, you'll get some cool benefits. So go ahead and go check out our team page and help us raise our goal of $3,000 US.
Let's do it, Guardians.
We can do it. Got a week to do it. Let's go. And then some news. You ready for some news?
Let's do it, man. Let's dive right in. We had plenty drop this week, so our reset should be beefy. But how about some news?
So much to do this week.
Yes, there was.
This week at Bungie, we're hosting a celebration. Festival of the Lost has been unleashed on the tower. Yep, festival kicked off another year. A super spooky year, if you will. There's lots of awesome decorations around the tower. What did you think about? Did you find the room full of the spooky? I don't know what you call them. The spooky hive decorations.
No, was it part of the quest? Because I haven't.
No.
Okay, no, I haven't.
So
seen it.
Go. Where our site used to be, underneath Soraya Hawthorne. Like,
okay.
Down like that flight of stairs you can go under and just go see what's in that room.
All right, I'll do that. I haven't seen that yet.
There's a couple other places you see these guys as well, but it's just this, I don't know. I won't spoil it for you. I love what they did with the decorations this year, though. They kind of stepped it up a notch.
Yeah, they did.
Kind of went all out. And
was the vault stuff new too? Because like our vaults are boarded up and covered. Yeah, it's cool.
And I love how it reminds me of Call of Duty Zombies. Games with the boarded up stuff. I can see that. And everything. It's pretty cool. And they did the same to the Haunted Forest. Like kicked up the decorations a notch. I think, in my opinion at least, like it's definitely a little spookier. Lots more pumpkins and skeletons, spooky, scary skeletons all around.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when do we want to talk about our thoughts on festival now or at resets?
Good question, because there's lots to talk about.
Question.
We'll table that for reset. We'll get to it.
All right,
because there's a lot to talk about here in the TWAB. Of course, Pit of Heresy, the new dungeon launched.
Yep.
That's been a big thing this week. Have you had a chance to play or check out the new dungeon?
I went in and solo, and I just kind of looked around and goofed around, and of course didn't make it very far. I've tried not to watch anything on it because I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna be one of those guardians and finally solo one of those. So I can't decide if I'm gonna watch any guides on it. I haven't
I'll tell
yet.
You what, without spoiling it, yeah, I think it's certainly soloable. I went in with one of my buddies and we hadn't seen anything on it. It took a little while, but we two-manned it. Just kind of figuring it out and having a good time. So it can be done. You may want to try to two-man it first and then try to solo.
Yeah, well, the thing about soloing is like maybe it's like you don't want to watch a guide, but a guide might help if you're solo. 2-man, 3-man. Some of my Dirt Fam crew, they went in 3-man and said it took them about an hour 15 or so.
Yeah, that probably sounds right.
Yeah. So anyways, I did jump in. I explored. I looked around. It's interesting. I made it decent.
It's really fun.
Into it. That's what I've heard. I
like it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I like it more than Shattered Throne. Shattered Throne's a cool experience and a cool dungeon, but I just enjoy the way they put this one together, the mechanics, all the different
I was curious
different
what you
little
thought.
parts of it. Yeah.
I figured you'd probably jumped in.
I've done it a couple times now and I really liked it.
I just think the dungeons are especially like just even jumping in and goofing around myself in this one and even not making it very far, but the dungeons just are cool. They have this cool feel about them. They feel like, like a raid type thing, just kind of this
it's like a
prestigiousness
raid, like
about them.
raid.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. They're just cool. I like it. I hope we continue to see them.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think, with this having released, I don't know. I might be on my own on this, but I feel like they have almost done too much this season.
I'm telling you.
I don't know if it's just me, but
content-wise, you mean?
Yeah, there's just too many things.
Well, yeah, I said this week.
Man,
well, remember when we read? They told us like the team just couldn't keep up with what they did last year. So it's like I feel like there's more this season. I tweeted out just a couple days ago, kind of joking, but I'm like, did anybody else feel like a DLC dropped this week? I had too much to do already,
and then half of it did. I mean,
yeah,
there was so many different things. And here's the other thing I didn't even realize really until my buddy pointed it out. The season only has about like 35 days left.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize that the season was going to expire in December. I was thinking for some reason we'd get a new season in January. But yeah, there's only about, 4, maybe 5.
So what would be the total time frame on that? Is it just was it 2 or 3 months? Is it 3 months?
I guess
shy of 3. Good grief, how are we already that close?
A couple weeks shorter, because of the late season. But yeah, December 10th, if you go by the season pass, you look at it. I never even looked above and read this. It says season ends X days, X hours.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I hadn't seen that either. I guess, I mean, it makes sense, but I mean, I'm with you. I thought we had longer than that as well.
Yeah. And then especially so if if you want that Undying title,
Right, yeah.
you've only got 5 resets left as of this
Wow.
week to complete that. And don't forget that some of those requirements are not just the Vex Offensive. There's also the collections requirement that I think require you to have a lot of guns. And I want to say the seasonal... They're not called ritual weapons anymore. What are they called? They're called
They used to, you talking about the 3 weapons?
yeah.
They were Pinnacle. You're right. They're Ritual now.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Not Pinnacle, Ritual. Got it.
Yep.
Yeah, you've got to earn each of those 3 as well
To get the title, yeah.
to get the title.
That's wow. Okay, that puts a lot of things into perspective when you actually put the time frame on it like that. Because yeah, just in my head, I was thinking we had longer than that as well. 5 resets is not a lot.
Yep.
Not for all these things.
And there's more stuff to come.
Right.
Coming up.
Yeah,
here.
because in the last part of the Vex invasion, that
Yep.
ties into the title as well, right?
I think so. Yeah, you have to defeat the Undying Mind. That's one of the triumphs.
Yeah.
We've also got the raid challenges coming up the 5th. That's a whole different thing. And Iron Banner coming back this reset. We'll get to that. And probably one more before the season's done, right? Usually
I would hope
3.
so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So Xenophage also showed up this week, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, it seems like it's not worth its weight from what I've heard. I have not finished the quest yet. It does tie into the dungeon. You don't start it there, but you do have to go into the dungeon to earn it. Reports are that at least Cosmo on Reddit, I believe, has acknowledged that there may be an issue with the gun, with damage. It's not performing as expected.
Yeah,
so hold tight on that. There were also the surprise of a new public event.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
icing on the cake here. We get a new public event on the moon. Man, what is the name of this event? I'm trying to remember now.
Altar of
Sorrow?
Sorrow, yeah. Altar of Sorrow, yeah.
That sounds right. If it's not, we could have named it that.
It's Altar of something.
Altars of Sorrow, yeah. That's what it is. Takes place on Sorrow's Harbor, and very similar to Escalation Protocol and things of that nature. Cool little event. You've got to fight champions, I think it is. Well, not champions, but nightmares.
Right, yeah,
Not
nightmares.
champions.
Yeah.
You got to fight nightmares in a wave-based mode, and and then it finishes off in a boss where you fight one of the named nightmares, and it's got 3 different weapons you can earn. There's a sniper, a rocket, and a shotgun that you can get your hands on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've played it some. It's fun. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I did too. Yep.
You
I
can.
can't. I'm trying to figure out when we're going to talk about our thoughts on Snake.
Yeah, we'll come back to it.
Yep.
And then on top of all this, Momentum Control showed up this week. So a ton of stuff.
Man, they could have
dumped into this
staggered
week.
some of this stuff, couldn't they? I guess there's not much time though. You just got done telling us about that.
Yeah, they just had to kind of roll with it. If they waited any longer, then you wouldn't have had much time with some of this stuff, right?
Right. Now, is Momentum? Did they say it's up for the entirety of Festival, or is it just this reset?
I want to say it was 6 weeks. So
Okay,
I'm guessing that would be through the end of the season, right?
End of the season, yeah.
This week,
All right,
and then 5
that's
more.
what I thought, because the hot thing to do right now is to get your Randy's throwing knife done, because Scout Rifle's one shot.
Or your Mountaintop Quest.
Yes.
And I heard this. And
I just got mine before it launched. So funny.
I was like, well, let me put on my setup then and go play a few games and see what this is like. And yeah, Fighting Lion, I felt bad for people.
Yeah. I mean,
Getting,
I
like,
just said last
multi-kills
episode, ticked it over, but that's okay. It was already an easier quest than it was before.
Mm-hmm.
But that's cool. I didn't even think about Mountaintop.
Yep. So easy place to farm those. I don't have the is it Reckoner, the sniper? I don't have that done.
Revoker.
Oh, Revoker. There we go.
Yep.
And so I thought, well, let me put on my sniper and see if I can work on that too while I'm in here.
Yeah.
And there's that too. Because I mean, some of the snipers you can body shot people.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You've got the headshot part of that quest, but at least you could get the body shot, and then of course your glory
you
rank.
can still get the headshots. It was weird though, because I got a precision kill with a sniper and it didn't count on the quest. So I thought, okay, that's strange. Maybe I didn't. I thought I got the kill with the head,
yeah.
It's hard to
You need
tell.
to go for that one though. It's I was surprised by that sniper, man. I'm actually using it right now because while I'm trying to get Not Forgotten this season, I'm trying to use my Luna more because I still need my Luna kills. So I'm pairing it with the Revoker. It's a beautiful sniper.
Very nice.
I like it.
So they talk a little bit about Festival of the Lost here in the TWAB. There is a costume contest going this reset. What you can do is create a costume for your Guardian, strike a pose in the perfect setting, snap a screenshot in any Destiny 2 destination or activity, submit it to the community creations page, and they'll retweet their favorites from Bungie at Bungie on Twitter and grant winners the Levante Prize, which is that awesome emblem. So they do mention group participation is encouraged.
That works.
So see how spooky you can get. There are some hot fixes coming in. 2.6.1.1 is planned for Thursday, November 7th. Contains some quality of life fixes for the sandbox and season pass weapon acquisition. They mention one of those changes is in your pursuit of pinnacle power. So they acknowledge that pinnacle progression was meant to be slower than the powerful reward band. It's a word that they use. But they're not hitting the goals for availability of rewards in all slots. So a lot of what's happening is if you're getting duplicates, drops from your pinnacle rewards, and you're missing an item, it can make it really hard to progress. It's just totally tied to how lucky you might be. Because you've got to have a full loadout, of the whole power number that you're at to get the next drop. So if you're 951, or if you're getting 951 drops, you've got to have a item in each individual slot to start getting 952.
Right.
So to change that, they're going to increase the power from those rewards to +2 instead of +1. So what that will change is only 4 slots will be needed to increase your average power up at least 1 slot.
Right.
So that way you'll be able to mix and match a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
But because this isn't for Thursday, you should wait to earn those rewards until that hotfix is available to take advantage of that +2 change. Also, they are adding the season pass weapons, which would be Pluperfect and Temporal Cause. That's the auto and machine gun you can get from the season pass as possible rewards from the Vex offensive activity. You can unlock getting those to drop with random rolls from Crucible Gambit and Strikes, but they have a very low drop rate. So they're adding this into Vex Offensive if you want to farm those, which I think is great.
I do as well. I love that they can just tweak the loot pool like that.
Yeah.
Hopefully we see it other places.
I love these guns too, like the design that they have for them. Just the gun, like the skin for it, if you will, are so cool.
Yep.
Just love the way they look. Finally, they mentioned there's a fix for the ashes to assets portion of Telesto. If you noticed a couple weeks ago, there was this weird bug you could use to get your super back with that perk. So that has been that's going to be fixed with that hotfix. Next up, Iron Banner. You ready
Already
for some
back.
Iron Banner again?
Yeah, I'm ready, but I mean, I really feel like it was just here.
It was like 3 weeks ago, right?
I think it doesn't feel like it, but
we say this every time Iron Banner comes back, but I really
think
it
we
was
have
just
for years.
a few weeks ago. Starting 9 a.m. Pacific on November 5th through November 12th. Remember, daylight savings time backs up the weekly reset by an hour. If you're not in the U.S., I'm sorry you don't understand what we're talking about. But we do weird stuff with our time twice a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because farmers.
Change time.
Yep. Also, there were some updates with 2.6.1 with changes to heavy IMO spawning in the Crucible, which are going to be reflected this go-around in Iron Banner. Spawn times on initial heavy is 60 seconds from 45, and additional after that is 120 seconds after instead of 60. So a little bit less power ammo in Iron Banner.
And Arrow is totally fine with that. We pretty much, when we get to the patch notes, I think we've talked about most of them up to this point, but my favorite by far is the change in power on survival.
Yes.
I still say power. Heavy.
Heavy
it's
power,
like my
power
favorite
heavy ammo
thing ever. Anyways. Because, I went on my little spiel last week about heavy ammo, and then boom, they changed it, and I think they even mentioned it before then, but moving on. Was
it sufficient?
Yes, so far it's been excellent so far.
That's good. Following that, if you missed it, the former Twitch streamer Githalion moved to a new platform. He moved to Mixer this week. Big move.
Yep.
That was huge.
Handful of those happening in the gaming community.
Yeah.
Interesting.
A lot of folks moving platforms and things. But Bungie has sought to welcome him with a Bungie bounty on his head. That took place Saturday, November 2nd from 10 to 12 Pacific. Played a little momentum control on PC and awarded some emblems for victors. Pretty cool little way to welcome him to a new platform. Congrats, Githalion. I hope that goes well for him.
Yeah, definitely. Of course.
Yeah. They also had the host to the inaugural Game to Give charity event. There was a stream that went live. And it continued with DCP Live, joined by Pete Parsons this weekend in WTF Game Nation. So continuing to raise money. I think they have some more stuff coming up before this is over. Some other parts of the stream. So keep your eyes peeled for news on that, for what they've got coming up next. Destiny player support. They talk a little bit about a few ongoing issues, specifically Izanagi's burden. This continues to be a thing with this gun in particular. Lots of problems with this gun. I don't know why, but there's a problem with the, what is it called? The Mysterious Box quest. It blocks progression at a certain point.
Right,
won't get progress. So that's going to be fixed in a future update. It doesn't seem to be that this will be included this Thursday coming up, if that's what you're looking for. So hang tight if you're working on that, because I
feel like
not fixed yet.
On the Bungie Twitter feed, they shot out an update on this, but I don't have it ready. If I find it while we're chatting, I will bring it back up.
Nice. Yep. Festival of the Lost, kind of some
I got it.
retreads. What you got?
November 1st, Bungie help. Issues preventing players from completing the mysterious box quest for Izanagi's Burden are expected to be resolved in Destiny 2 Hotfix 2.6.1.1 next Thursday. This was on November 1st, so they made it in time, it looks like.
Good for them.
There we go.
There you go.
Sorry.
All right.
Go ahead.
No, good news. Other known issues, they've got a few. Players may intermittently experience delayed loot drops or pursuit progression. If you finish something and you don't get your loot, make sure you don't go to orbit too soon. I guess they're saying to just wait, see if it pops up. Other than that, I don't know what to tell you. I haven't seen this problem personally. So, yeah, don't lose your loot. I'm just waiting for the game to crash from all these candies. Like, I'm waiting for guitar errors to keep happening, you know?
Right. Mm-hmm.
'Cause that was the big
galore.
issue, they said, when that was going on in Last Wish. Too many items in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's candy everywhere from these event.
I know I posted just a nice little quick set of clips sniping in the Crucible, and I wore my mask the whole time, so every little clip had the candy dropping on the screen. Oh, that's funny. I didn't even realize that until I cropped it all together.
I love
there's
it.
Candy everywhere, man.
I love running
Chocolates.
around with
Kept calling them cookies, but they're chocolates.
chocolate strange cookies.
Strange coins. Yeah. Does it say cookies?
No,
I'm trying to figure out why. Yeah, it doesn't.
chocolate
It's just
strange
chocolate
coins.
strange. Yeah. But I kept calling
You
them
just
cookies.
like cookies a lot.
I do, actually. Maybe that's it. Little subconscious thing there.
That's it, man. In the movie of the week, we've got some funny entries, very seasonal, and then finally to wrap it up, Tim G is back, right in the twab again this week.
Yes.
Like he brings a little special voice.
Some loot at the bottom that he got there.
Yeah, nice.
Is that from the altar?
Yeah.
Okay, thought so.
Cool little sniper rifle.
I've seen that around a little bit.
In other news, we got an update this week, 2.6.1. A whole bunch of changes, some sandbox changes.
Mm-hmm.
Some changes to some weapons that people have been waiting on or not waiting on.
Right. Yeah, it's funny because these days they put so much of this in the TWAB beforehand. We have to try to remember what they didn't tell us already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Go
There's
read
so much
them.
stuff. Go read them. Yeah, there's plenty. Again, my favorite is the heavy ammo changes. My other favorite, both PvP related, is this was the one where they fixed finally the little graphic icons for the subclasses in PvP.
Oh yeah,
which we've talked about already. But man, I was super pumped for that. It's weird now though because I don't recognize the new ones, even though we've seen them forever in the the subclass menus.
Yeah, there's also a change to in the UI. It will show the ornament display of an item.
Yes, dude.
What do you think about this change?
I dig it. I mean, if you can't tell already, it shows the ornament. So here's the thing. There's two layers to it, actually, that I don't think it did before either. It tells you with a little difference in the background of the thumbnail, too, that it is an ornament. So you can, if they would have just done that, I think that would have been okay because it kind of would just, okay, there's for example, like I'm running the Iron Banner mark, but I switched it to a different mark. They wouldn't have necessarily had to change the thumbnail, but to throw the little textured background to let you know that that's an ornament. And that's why you're not seeing the, for example, in my case, the Iron Banner mark, but they went another layer and actually changed the thumbnail, which I'm totally fine with. I think that's fine. I mean, it makes it clear and obvious that, somebody's, doesn't, it kind of messes with your head a little bit. I mean, is it just me?
I get really confused about what something is. It's kind of okay with the weapons because they just kind of change like the color or whatever. Like you can still kind of recognize stuff,
right? And
even with the exotic armors and things like that, it's not too hard to look at it and glance and figure out what you're looking at. But with armor that you can slot like Eververse cosmetics on and stuff, I get really confused about what something is.
Right. Yeah.
Like I'll look at it and be like, wait, what is this? What? Oh, hold on. What is that? What is the actual armor piece? Hold on. Like,
yeah. And I could see where if they would have just done the like textured background and then left the, the icon there, it would be confusing. I guess it's kind of nice that they actually change it on the thumbnail. I mean, can you think of a reason? Is there any reason why that's not a good thing? I mean, I guess it's good, right? We instantly see what the actual mark is that they're wearing.
Yeah. Anytime there's a change in the UI, it's an adjustment, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But the other thing is remember when we were talking about this before and we're like, oh yeah, we can do all the Eververse stuff. I wonder if we're going to be able to do other stuff. I get confused on what their thought or what's going on behind the scenes or what their goal is with this, right? Because this is like a Eververse transmog. That's all it is. Like, is that what it will always be, or will we be able to transmog anything onto anything at some point? Is that like the ultimate goal? As far as armor goes, I don't know. I guess Eververse was the place to start.
Yeah.
Or am I forgetting a piece of this?
I'd like to see all armor types of a certain kind fit together,
Right. Yeah. Transmog's a weird thing because I'm not necessarily like all for transmog for the reasons you were just saying. It just sometimes it's like I just want to see what people have, what they earned, and what they decided to wear. Whereas now, you have that layer of a little bit more investigation into the character screen, which is okay. But then it all boils down to what's more important, being able to make your Guardian look the way you want it to, or people being able to interpret your character screen a little quicker. And I think fashion probably wins in that regard. Yeah. So definitely.
Yeah, a lot of the time it's just, I don't even think of it in terms of thinking about what somebody else is wearing when I look at them, as much as just trying to figure out what I have on my armor piece here. And
yourself.
Like,
yeah.
Because certain mods go to certain armor types, I'll forget, I'll have this thing on a armor and I'm like, well, wait, which armor is this? I got to go look and read it. If I don't remember what the name of it, I got to go look at the mods. What kind of mods can I put on this one? Just kind of turns into like this whole menu.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dump that I've got to go through to figure out just what I can do with something. It's not perfect, but there's plenty of time to improve. Moving on through the patch notes here. Notable things. Let's see. So many different things, little tips and changes and this and that. In the raid Garden of Salvation, you get your rewards as engrams instead of directly in the loot feed. I'm not sure what the purpose of that is. Maybe to solve some problems with loot dropping?
I don't know. Has it been like that in other raids? I mean, to me, I remember this way back when I was in a raid
Last Wish,
once, a long time ago.
Where, I don't know what raid started it, but at a certain point, that's what they started doing with all the drops.
I prefer that. Like in a loot-based game, taking out the bosses, and in Destiny, I like to see the little Ingram drop. I prefer that way over just popping up on my screen. I don't know why. It's just a personal preference, but I like to just see. It's a Diablo thing, right? Like the loot flying out of the boss.
Going into see it come out of the chest and then going to pick it up.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
But maybe there's something going on in the back end, like you said, that it's not as intensive.
They also increased the radius for Relay Defender and Enhanced Relay Defender, which is definitely handy. Because it was not very usable in its current state. You had to be so close to this relay to use that mod. So now it's a little more effective. Can confirm. Other weird stuff they fixed. A bunch of changes to some issues on the moon destination that they fixed. One I appreciate. Phantasmal Core stat cap from 3 to 999. I don't know about you, but I've got like a bajillion of these things. These phantasmal cores.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess they saw that as something people would want to farm, but I haven't really spent any time doing that.
Yeah, no, I haven't either. But you reminded me too. The other one that's huge is the Gambit Prime Synths or 999 now. Like, why did that take so long? I've just set on 20 of each. Yeah. Yep.
I didn't even realize.
I've set on 20 of each because I don't want 2 stacks of them, and I don't really want to make room in my vault for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I would just keep like going and getting rid of stacks, turning them into Glimmer.
Mm-hmm.
Because you get so many playing Gambit. I don't know why you need them. Well, I mean, I do. You need a lot of them if you're going to create armor,
yeah, for
right?
sure. But at this point, yeah.
At this point, not so much.
Right.
So yeah, they moved on and did a ton of just tweaks and quality of life stuff, right? And then a big one, they added a bunch of lore tabs to some items that were missing them, like
just looking at that one.
A whole slew of exotics, as well as a lot of the legendary items that you can get from Garden of Salvation. Added a bunch of really interesting lore that I was excited to read. I read
good stuff.
There's some cool stuff.
Lore is always good.
So a couple big reveals, like semi-big, not like earth-shaking, but relevant stuff that I'm excited to see.
Some teases.
Yep. Changes to heavy, right? In control, Iron Banner control, and survival. Was it just survival that really was the issue for you?
For me, yeah. Yeah, it was just, it's in every round, obviously, and it's, was it, 30 seconds, I think? Mm-hmm. I just lost it on the feed here.
Yeah.
And it was just coming into play too quick. It's amazing what 60 seconds has done. There's a lot more room to just play the gun game before the heavy gun game begins. Because it ultimately it's a long time in the Crucible, right? Yeah. It's just think about like Rampage, you always are like those perks like that. Not necessarily in the Crucible. You're like, oh, what is 1 second really going to do for you? But it's a long time when you're, playing the game, blasting stuff in the Crucible. Yeah. So 30 seconds is huge, but it ultimately, at 30 seconds just became who could take over the center of the map and get control of power right off the start. And in 60 seconds, it gives you time to play the game for a little bit and move around the map. And then heavy is spawning. At least, we played quite a bit the other night, and it felt way better to me. And it was just kind of a personal thing for me that I wanted to see tweaked a bit. So worked out. I definitely like it in survival. That's the only thing I've really fully paid attention to as far as it changing is survival. Of course, like you mentioned, Iron Banner is also going to be affected this next reset as you're listening to this. I think you mentioned too, they mentioned in the TWAB, this is random, but about saving your pinnacle rewards for that Thursday, like generally, but also they had a reminder about Iron Banner. I think you mentioned that.
Oh yeah.
Save your Iron Banner quests, or your bounties till Thursday as well.
Yes. Yeah. But also that there will only be 4 this time.
Only 4. I know they were like refreshing last time or whatever. Yeah, that was
right.
It was an interesting one.
Yep.
So anyways, I am all for this heavy tweak in survival. So far, so good.
Very good. So yeah, go check out these patch notes. There's a ton of stuff to go over. Lots of little changes and tweaks, but we covered the main stuff, I think. Besides, there was some of the sandbox stuff with Striker, what was it? The Bottom Tree Night Stalker, I think.
Dawnblade, Bottom Tree.
Or Dawnblade.
Yeah, Striker, Bottom Tree, and then a couple other little tweaks. And they threw that in the TWAB. A lot of this stuff that was a couple weeks ago. They put that in there, so we'll see. I haven't seen too many complaints about those tweaks.
I think a lot of people wanted those.
Right, yeah, Bottom Tree Striker was just out of control.
Dawnblade too. It's a shame that you can't have as much fun in PvE, but
there's a
it's gotta
balance.
be balanced,
Right.
You know.
There's a balance. They're hitting it pretty good so far on many of the supers, but yeah, a couple of them were just crazy in the Crucible.
Yeah. Well, that is all the news this week. And I guess it's that time. How was your reset, Arrow?
Dude, my reset. I was thinking about it's been fantastic. I don't know, it's been just as busy as ever this last reset, but I'm back to kind of staying up later. So I feel like I've played a lot of Destiny this past reset. The main thing, as always, is just trying to get to max power, which I did. I hit 960 a couple nights ago. Can't remember. Of course, 10 from the artifact. So I hit that 950 spot. I was having that little thing, man, what we were talking about earlier with the pinnacle stuff. Like, I was having the duplicate slots, and I'm like, come on. And then I got lucky, and I got my last one, which was my energy slot that I needed. So anyways, hit that max power. I've already kind of jumped on my alts, just to bump them up a bit. But I keep thinking now about that time frame you just brought to our attention. Somebody brought to your attention. 5 weeks, man. Like, I don't even know if I want to mess with alts. I might just stay on my main and make sure I get everything done I want to get done.
Yeah, I kind of want to get my Iron Banner stuff on my other two characters.
Yeah, that's right. You mentioned that. Yeah.
So I might mess around with them and just try to do the, knock the quests out and then try to do the bounties for the pinnacle bounties on my Titan.
Yeah, and the quest is it feels super short compared to the other ones, so maybe it won't be too bad to do it on your alts.
3 or 4 hours, I guess, and you've got it.
Yeah, it didn't seem too bad. I'm still trying to fit in like the 25 matches of each for my broadsword, so yeah, I'll be jumping in for those control completions. Wait, is it control?
Yeah.
Okay, it is control.
I guess it would count as regular control.
Yeah. Do they even do Clash anymore? It used to rotate. Yeah, it's Iron Banner control.
No, yeah. It's just the unique Iron Banner.
That's right.
Control.
Anyways, yeah. So I'm going to knock out those control matches, and then all I'll have left is Rumble, because Survival I knocked out pretty quick. I'm trying to get these few pinnacle weapons topped off. I've already mentioned it in the show, but on past episodes. But Mountaintop's done. I got Broadsword. I think I'm a couple quest steps away. And then, of course, Not Forgotten is going to be the final one I'm going to try and get this season. Speaking of, we spent some time in Survival and Glory, the Glory grind, this reset, and went on a couple pretty decent tears with the Dirt Fam, a couple different fire teams. And it's funny, played, I think it was the reset before, just kind of win-loss. And then when you go on those streaks, they're just so huge, because I had dropped back down to like, I don't know, 3,400 from 4,000. I got myself back up. I think I'm sitting at about 43 now. So I'm just going to try to keep grinding away at that and hit that 55. But my problem is I realized that after I got Luna, I didn't use it that much because I'm always using Last Word Sniper. So I'm only at like 35% on my Luna kills. I was at like 24% before we hit the streaks this week. So now I have to, I do not want to hit 5,500 and not be able to finish my Luna kills before the season's over.
Yeah, get that done first.
Right, because then I've got to hit 55 again next. Yeah. So, anyways.
At least. Do you have to do them all in competitive?
It says the tooltip says in survival. So it's like, really? Like, can I get some credit in Iron Banner or something?
Right.
Yeah, and I want to say I saw somewhere that it's like, I could be wrong, but I feel like at some point I saw somewhere it's like 500 kills. I don't know if that's changed, but I will say, like, in a single match of survival, I only go up like maybe 2%. Yeah. 1% mostly. So 500, it may not be 500, but it's a lot, maybe 300 or something. I'm not sure, but I just got to keep chugging away at that. Cause again, I'm always using Last Word and Sniper, my beloved. So basically what I did to compensate, I kind of mentioned earlier, I'm using Revoker and Luna, which is still like a super deadly combo. back in D1, I used those just normal firing hand cannons all the time. So you get that pacing down, pacing your shots. Now I use last word so much, it's hardly anything like a typical hand cannon. So it took me several games to get my old school hand cannon, mentality down. But that thing, I mean, it's still, they tweaked them a bit, but it's still a beast. It's a fun hand cannon to use. But anyways, I mean, it's been Crucible heavy still for me. I'm trying to balance the PvE. I did jump in altars we talked about. That was super fun. I'll tell you one reason why it was super fun. And at some point over the last week, I don't even think it was somebody that I normally watch on YouTube. And I can't give credit because I don't remember who it was. It was just some random video I found with a build post Shadowkeep. And actually it was, Shadowkeep. It's I don't know if you've seen this build, but it's amazing, especially for stuff like altars, just those wave-based modes. It's not too bad in the Haunted Forest, but it's not as good because you got to kind of look around for enemies. But if you run on your Titan, Monte Carlo, Doomfang Pauldrons, and then run Sentinel. I'm running Bottom Tree Sentinel because it's got the shield bash. You get 25% of your super because of the Pauldrons with a melee kill. Shield bash in this case. You get 25% of your super. So then you use Monte Carlo to build your melee back up. And Monte Carlo, not only on kill will build it up, it has a chance to fully restore your melee. Oh, yeah. So as soon as you do that, then you run shield bash again. I have a video. I picked up a few orbs in this video, but I posted a video on my YouTube channel. I missed one of my melees, and which should have slowed me down from getting my super as quick as I could, but I picked up just a few orbs to compensate. I got my super. I popped the super is when I started the video. Super done, did those few things, and then popped my super again. It was about 15 seconds.
Wow.
It was insane.
I haven't played that.
But I was running altars though, so there was enemies everywhere.
Yeah. Well, that's fun to do stuff like that, right?
Yeah, dude. I've been having a blast. It's like my go-to PvE build right now. It's super fun. Plus, I love autos in PvE, so it's just kind of right up my alley. But
it's fun, man.
Yeah, it's been super fun. I mean, other than that, I told you guys, I jumped in the dungeon solo a little bit just to goof around. And then it was cool too. We shout out to the Dirt Fam, ran a couple fire teams of the Dirt Fam, and we actually got a Dirt Fam member there, Recluse. So that was cool. It's always fun to be able to grind the glory and help people get other weapons. But anyways, man, that's plenty this week. I feel like I played a ton this week. Even, of course, my reset is usually also updating you guys on my kiddo and I's gameplay. We're still tearing up some Minecraft. And one more huge thing. My son, together we made his first Destiny character this reset.
Oh, that's big.
No joke. We're just kind of like, he was playing on my character and went into the tower and then kind of dropped in a safe place in the patrol area, still plenty of places to go in Destiny, and kind of he likes to just swap in and out the gear and stuff like that. And so I was like, you know what, we got 2 PlayStations. We made him a PSN account, and we it's free up to a certain point of content. And it was so funny, man. We made his character together, which was super fun. I mean, just awesome, magical. And then it was hilarious. My character, he was on my character in the tower, just kind of running around, and he remembered where you spawned in, so he ran up and was waiting. And I'm like, well, buddy, we'll have to join a fire team together, and then I'll spawn into your instance of the tower. But this, how we've heard it match makes you dependent, like on your location. Mm-hmm. Well, we made his character, and after the first mission, the new light mission, it drops you in the tower, and it put me in his instance. I spawned right in front of him where he was standing. Like we didn't join each other's fire team or anything. So we were cracking up because I'm sure the odds maybe aren't too crazy, but there's gotta be quite a few instances of the tower, in our geographic location. So it was hilarious, dude, because I was like expecting you, like, man, we'll have to join fire teams, and then boom, I just spawned right in front of him in the same instance of the tower. So anyways, long story short, that was quite a magical moment, this reset.
Yeah, man, one thing I'd love to see eventually happen in Destiny would be like a seamless joining into a fire team.
Right. Yeah, for sure. That'd be cool.
Where you could just do it and you didn't have to reload into an instance. And
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
that.
that would be an excellent little quality of life thing. Yeah.
I think it would improve like people doing that out in the wild,
Mm-hmm.
If there was some kind of like, I don't know, like buff or like some kind of I don't know where I'm going with this, but if there was a better reason to to play with people, then
I know what you're saying. Yeah, just make it more convenient or more just a kind of a natural
or some kind of gameplay
matchmaking type
to
thing.
It, where you want to be in a fire team, or you get certain buffs, so you can do certain things together. Then people would do that more often together.
Yeah, any way to like just organically bring people together without actually having to go through menus and join each other. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, he loves robots too. He went with a Titan. Well, he picked a Titan, which I was super proud.
Good
and
boy.
Then went with a Exo, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
So got an Exo Titan.
That's
in
cool.
the family.
That's exciting.
Anyways, man, yeah, it's super exciting. What have you been up to?
Oh man, just trying to get into a little bit of everything this week. Played the dungeon. We talked about that. Enjoyed that a lot. The only thing I'm disappointed about really with the dungeon is the loot. I know that there is a pulse rifle associated with it, but it did not drop for me in the 2 times I ran the dungeon. I got a bunch of armor and I got one weapon, which you can get the moon set of weapons.
Okay.
That you get from the altar or what have you.
Right.
Those can drop with random rolls, and they do drop powerful, which is nice, but didn't really help me with any of that. And then when you defeat the boss, I'm guessing it's supposed to be this way. On the first time I defeated the boss, I got a masterwork piece of armor, which that's cool. Because that's a lot more valuable than it used to be. So I did like that, but I don't know, for the time invested in it being a new activity and stuff, I don't know, I just expected more out of something new like that. And
can you farm the dungeon for the weapons?
I don't know how the loot pool is supposed to work after you've done it once. So like the second time I did it, some of the chests I just got like glimmer or like a blue drop, just kind of lame. And then there is a consumable. I think you have to do a certain weekly with Eris and then do the public event, the Altar of Sorrows. And you can get this this consumable to drop. I think it's called like Hymn of Sorrow or Hymn of Desecration or something like that. And what it reads is that when you activate it, a couple of the specific encounters in the dungeon have increased chances of dropping weapons. And it lasts until it procs. So there is that, but I don't know. I like the activity is really fun, and I can see myself going in and doing it to get masterworked armor. But beyond that, like, there's not a super compelling reason to spend a lot of time in there.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm a little disappointed about that. I feel like there's this continued disconnect with loot in a lot of activities and what we expect versus what they provide.
Especially with an activity like that, like the dungeon. I mean, that's something you want to have motivation or reason to grind it over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. It would be a perfect place for like a hive armor set or something that you could farm.
Mm-hmm.
But we just, obviously like resources are the issue, right? Otherwise we would have more stuff. but you just have to look at, again, like how much stuff goes into the season pass and Eververse and all this stuff. And then you have an actual place where you can have a unique activity and it's challenging. You can hope to go in and, run this every week or farm it and get unique loot. And there's very, very little associated with it. It just kind of disappoints me.
Yeah, no, I can see that definitely. Especially with something like that.
I just want more stuff in the game that you earn through playing the game. Like, not that I have to buy or is associated with buying a season pass or this or that. Like, I don't know, man. I'm getting a little weary on some of this model of what we're seeing.
Yeah.
But besides that, played the dungeon. Oh, Haunted Forest. Glad that that's back. Played that a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. You enjoy the Haunted Forest. I gotta say, I mean, I didn't talk about Festival much. I mean, so far, I mean, Festival is accomplishing what we talked about last week. Just a nice, compliment to what we're doing already. The Haunted Forest, I was gonna talk to you about that. I enjoy it. Typically, any kind of wave-based mode I enjoy, but the Haunted Forest, it's fun, but I can't do it a ton. You can, right? Like, you guys played it a lot?
I like yeah, I mean, reasonably. Like, not night after night after night, but
right.
Enough because we like trying to push and get to the higher tiers and stuff.
Right, yeah, that part's cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's not that I don't enjoy it. It's just, I think maybe it's the setting. I don't know, the dark, I don't know. It's just, maybe that's it. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I think that's part of what makes it fun is the festive aspect of it too. And then knowing it's limited time. So like playing it while you can. There's a fun quest, and it's not really marked as a quest, but you get an item. If you remember from D1, you get a little box of raisins from Eris, and you have to kind of follow the clues on the item descriptions, and you get sent all over the place with different vendors where you have to do different things. And it culminates, and then you finish it, and there's a really hilarious voice line from Eris that you've got to check out.
Is that the Triumph?
Yes. Brushing your teeth.
I just saw that. Yep, tonight. I was doing a little research on that because I don't remember seeing that one when I first glanced at them.
Yeah, definitely go check that out. Go do that one. It's worth doing just to hear the Eris voice lines.
It seems like too you get a at least I have, you get a mask every time you finish a run. I've gotten one every time. Maybe my luck's just excellent, but I'm assuming because I'm finishing out my mask collection that I didn't have finished before. So
maybe so. I don't get masks from Haunted Forest.
Really, I've been getting them from the final chest I think every run that I've done, which I've only done like 4 or 5 runs, but
maybe last year's are in the loot pool.
Yeah, that's I believe that's what I'm getting because you buy the 5
because I have all the ones from last year.
Oh, you have them? Okay, that's why. Yep, I'm still missing like 5-ish.
That might be why. That's cool though.
That's great. Yeah, that I will say that's gotten me back in there. Yeah, that's gotten me back in there because I want to finish out that little collection, and I love that they're ornaments, right? That's a big deal.
It makes them because the original systems you'd have to carry all this junk in your inventory and swap them in and out. It was a huge pain in the butt. Yeah, now
the other thing I forgot,
put on the one that you want.
Oh yeah, it's nice, and I try to match it with whatever build I'm running. I was gonna say the other thing I forgot to mention that I did play some was Momentum Control. Did you play any of that? What'd you think?
Yeah, I've played a few games. I think it's really fun.
Do you think so?
I know that there's a little frustration from people that it's such an easy way to farm kills for certain guns and stuff, and it's really punishing with a lot of special guns, right? They carry special ammo like fusions, breech loading, grenade launchers, even a lot of kinetic weapons like scouts. There's certain snipers that will one-hit body kill.
Right. Probably any high impact.
Yeah, high impact guns, stuff like that. I think people are frustrated to play against.
I took my Polaris in there. Just that was what we were talking about earlier. It's the high impact one headshot, like Jade, working on that Randy's.
Yeah, a lot of people with Jade Rabbit.
Oh yeah,
Jade's a
all over the
pretty
place.
popular one right now. So yeah, once people got word that was going on, it filled the playlist with a lot of people going in to experiment and farm for stuff. But I think in the right meta and with tweaks and things, like I think it's really fun. Just the way that the games play out and like how fast the zone control points cap off, like everything just you're moving really quick, but at the same time, like you don't see people in lanes that you normally would expect, you know, like you're playing a map and you kind of go into that lane where everybody kind of decides to face off and like everybody's just hiding.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
And it's funny, like, but it changes how you approach things and like what you show up to do in certain situations and stuff. It's really fun.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was worried. I mean, we read about it, and typically game modes like that, like Mayhem's fun, but you know, I'm a competitive, I guess you could say, Crucible player. I spent a lot of time in the competitive playlist, or you know, survival, whatever you want to call it now. And sometimes these modes, I mean, I have to go into them just like, okay, this isn't what I typically go into. This isn't trials. This isn't competitive. Let's just go in and goof off, have some fun. And I'm surprised with this one. Like I really do enjoy it. You know, they even mentioned in the TWAB, you know, it's kind of like SWAT, if you will. And I got to say, there's something about pegging someone with a single scout rifle headshot that does make me remember the SWAT days in Halo, and it is fun. You know, there's also that moment where, you know, you get pegged in the face like 5 times in a row after you spawn, and you're like, wait, maybe do I really like this game mode? But then you go on a streak. It's just kind of like, I don't know, it's just fun. To me, it's accomplishing what they meant for it to accomplish. It's just a different kind of mode. It's fun. You can get a lot of kills, and you know, nothing's too annoying for the most part. So I don't really care that people are finishing their quests. More power to them for being able to get their weapons. It's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Another thing I wanted to talk about, I almost forgot. We were talking about Festival of the Lost with some of the Eververse stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a little disappointing with how much you have to spend to get stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that price point.
Best case I've seen put out for this is if you don't have the Bright Dust, which this is like a separate aspect of this. Bright Dust is super hard to come by now. If you wanted to buy the cosmetic armor for each of your 3 characters, let's say you had, you know, one of each class, $45.
Wow.
$45. And to put that in perspective, like that's more than Shadowkeep cost.
Shadowkeep, yeah.
So, of course, it goes into the argument. Everybody knows, you know, how this works with whales, right? You have this segment of the population every game that spend an enormous amount of money, and it's much more profitable for developers to target those individuals than it is to make things affordable and rely on a greater number of people to buy stuff. You'll have players that, you know, for an event like this will spend hundreds, if not thousand, you know, however much there is to buy, they will spend all the money to get everything.
Right.
And there's a lot of money for developers to make for that, but it's really obnoxious, in my opinion, to have to. We get an event, right? It's part of. I guess you don't even have to have the season pass to play this, do you?
I don't believe so. No.
So it's just included in the game. But I bought, like, you know, Shadowkeep. I bought all the seasons that you can buy coming up for the year. Like, you know, we spent all this money, and then when the fun event comes up for Halloween, we're expected to pony up if we want anything good out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you don't have the bright dust and you're not going to spend silver, you're going to get some masks and a weapon. That's what you're going to get out of this event. You don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's unfortunate because Destiny is a game where armor and what you're wearing and the fashion and how you express that is a big part of the game. It's like, it's not a trivial thing. It's not like a mount in a MMORPG, like where, well, whatever, you know, you got this cool looking griffin mount or whatever, like you do in WoW. I'm not underscoring how much vanity matters in those games, but I don't think it's to the degree of what we see in Destiny, where it's everything, you know? I mean,
Right.
what you wear is reflective of what you've done in the game. Like what you wear and what you have equipped is all stuff that you have earned or you now have bought. And they're putting so much focus on what you've bought that it's made me care less, significantly less in D2 about what I earn, because half the stuff in the game that's worth having, you have to pay for. And I'm not going to pay that much. I don't have that kind of money to throw around in a game that I already paid for. I want stuff that I can earn. And in D1, we had that. Like you get your Glowhoo or your Chatterwhite and stuff that you show off when you finish the raid, or, you know, you'd have the shaders that you had earned from completing the hard
I do
mode
miss some
versions
layer
of
of
the
that.
raid. And
I remember standing in the tower and seeing people with those shaders. Like, I gotta have that.
yeah, I mean, it's been muddled, for lack of a better word, like that whole aspect of the game with
Yeah, I mean,
the
that's
microtransactions.
That's a good point. You know, like I've mentioned several times, you know, it's the price point that I feels off too on the stuff. But you're right.
Yeah,
I mean, when you
and
start
that's why.
toying with just the overall, you know, I guess chemistry in the game of what you can buy and what you can earn. That is a big deal. You don't want that to teeter to the buying side too much. I mean, it sounds like you're already a little bit at that point. I always analyze how I feel about Eververse stuff, and like, for example, festivals launched, I've glanced in Eververse to see what's in there, but I haven't like looked with the intention of buying. Like, I'm not like enticed by Eververse that much, but like there are a couple things in there that I do want, and I probably don't have the bright dust for them. So that's why it always ends up for me where I try to figure out what makes me want to buy it. For example, something that makes me want to spend money are the Solstice armor sets. For some reason, like the glows are important to me. Like, I want the glows. But when it comes to like an event, like I kind of want that broom sparrow, and I kind of want like the cool skeleton
There's stuff
glow.
in there. Yeah, I want some of those things.
Right.
And
yeah.
the other thing that they don't do, and they do it intentionally, is they don't indicate what's going to be for sale for bright dust.
Right. Yep. We talked
when.
about it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So there's a artificial scarcity
Mm-hmm.
where you're wondering, like, well, I don't know, do I need to buy this week? I don't know if it'll be for sale for bright dust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about
maybe
that.
I have to spend money.
Joe and I talked about that because we're like, you know, I was saying there needs to be some sort of, you know, whether it's misleading intentionally or unintentionally, we'll assume unintentionally, there needs to be like a little icon on the items that lets you know, or something that lets you know that they'll eventually be sold for bright dust, or that they're just.
But there's no,
for real
I mean,
money.
they're doing this. You have to understand they're doing that intentionally. They want there to
make
be
money.
scarcity.
Yeah.
They want you to feel fear missing out.
Mm-hmm.
It's
try
like,
to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I mean, the model there indicates
absolutely there.
Right, the model.
It's the same reason why partially the season stuff is going to expire. You know, there's a space limitation, yeah, okay, but a lot of it is they want you to be there to buy that season when it's there.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, like, they got to make money, you know, and so scarcity, even if it's created, is a tool to sell things, but there's always just this fine line, man, between like,
you don't want to dilute the rest of the game, right? And that's a good point you make. Like it's again, for me, I'm always trying to analyze Eververse with myself personally. Of course, it's the only thing you can do, and it doesn't bother me up to a certain point. You know, there's not always a lot in there I do want to support Bungie here and there, just because, you know, the amount we get per season for content. But when you stand back and it's, you know, it's multiple seasons, multiple years, and you can see, if you start to see a pattern of it teetering the other way, already like a starting point is you feeling this way, right? I mean, so there's something there, or we wouldn't even be talking about it right now. I mean, you play this game all the time. So that's what's dangerous, right? That's what that we don't need. That's the balance you're talking about. Like there's gotta be a balance. Because this game's all about showing off what you earn more than it is showing off what you bought. I mean, it can be both things, but like people want to show off their accomplishments more than they want to show off, you know, what they paid for in Eververse.
And the Bright Dust economy is ridiculous. I mean, you get like 100 Bright Dust from these weekly bounties. That's not even, you can't buy anything with that. Not anything desirable. Like, okay, great. You'll have enough to buy like a new shader or something. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's nice that we can grind Bright Dust now, but I mean, that's a lot of grinding.
It's obvious they've balanced the economy to drain people's Bright Dust so that eventually you'll be out or you'll be low and there will be scarcity and you'll have to buy things as opposed to using Bright Dust.
Right. Yep. No, man, it's a valid conversation. We'll I'll have to revisit it over time and just see how we're feeling with it. Hopefully it
all we can do is give feedback like this, and then speak with your wallet, you know. Don't buy stuff that's overpriced.
Well, too, one other thing I was going to mention before we move on is you kind of hinted at, if we're buying all this content and we buy the digital deluxe, we've got all the seasons. I don't know necessarily that it's an answer, but something, you know, you don't want it to be unfair for anybody, but something that makes us, you know, that are fully invested in the game feel like maybe we're getting some sort of benefit from it. I don't know if, you know, an Eververse discount is the thing, again, because I don't want people to feel like, you know, they're having to pay more. But, you know, if these seasons are for everyone, you know, people that didn't even buy the content, then, you know, well, maybe what do we get because we're fully invested in your franchise, right? I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Have to see what happens over time.
Put some of the stuff in the season pass.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Know, so that you get some things as part of the purchase of the content.
I like that. Yeah, because, I mean, to me, I like the season pass just because I like continued progression. But I have went through that thing several times and been kind of like there's some stuff in here, but there doesn't feel like there's a lot. Granted, it's the first iteration of it, but that would be a nice little solution there. Throw some of the
or give some silver for some tiers.
Yeah, Bright Dust silver, something like that. Oh yeah, silver would be cool.
Silver or Bright Dust. I don't know. There's room for
improvement. There you go. Constructive feedback.
Yeah,
as we do.
But yeah, those are that's a lot of the things I've been up to this reset. I put the Outer Worlds on back burner because there was so much stuff to play.
There's so much.
But I'm really itching to get back to that game because I was enjoying it. So
you have to keep us posted.
Yeah, I'm like kind of cracked into it, you know, getting into the swing of it, and it's fun so far. I like it a lot. So
yeah, I've heard really good things.
But now I'm feeling the whip cracking and like, I got to get this title done, so I need to focus.
Yeah, not a lot of time.
3 ritual weapons to earn. I've made progress on all of them, but not even halfway done.
I was going to attempt Undying up to this point, even to recording this show, but now, man, there's not a lot of time for, I was going to try and focus on Crucible a little bit, to try to fit in Crucible and everything else and the Undying title. I don't know.
It's still doable. The weapons are not as involved.
Right. They're not too bad.
You know, like I didn't even make a effort towards the Gambit weapon for this season, but I just was using an SMG, and I'm like a third of the way done with it already. And that was just from a couple of weeks of doing the Gambit, you know, weekly milestone or whatever. So
yeah, I've kind of unintentionally done a couple, but I've been specifically going for Randy's. So that one, I think, maybe the longest or the hardest to get. Maybe
I think so. Yeah. Just because it's a little bit of a grind to get those kills and medals, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
It just takes time. Well, that's it. That's my reset, man.
There you have it.
We've got a little bit of Derp Fam discourse.
We do.
Yeah. So we've got a message in our newly christened channel in the Discord. And I think we changed the name of it, right? Derp Show Questions.
Yep.
Keep
DRP, Derp Show Questions. You can send us topics, questions, shout outs, you know, Derp Fam stories, our awesome guardians in the community. But yes, it is now called Derp Show Questions.
Yes. From Chief Man Down, he writes, "Hi, Arrow and Cyborg. As you know, I'm on a break from Destiny due to the birth of my new little light. Do we know if any of the weapons from the seasons will be placed in the loot pool after the season is finished, i.e. the weapons from the Vex Offensive, or will they disappear into the shores of time, pun there, never to be earned again? I would like to get some of them when I come back. Love the show, Derp Fam for life."
Well,
I'm guessing the only things that could go away right now is the Vex Offensive stuff, right? And then perhaps the two weapons from the season pass and the armor.
That seems like it would be the case. I mean, and they haven't really said officially, right? But they've hinted that they may or could.
They didn't say how, but they did say there will be other ways sooner than later to get the weapons. I don't know about the armor, but I remember Luke Smith talking specifically about weapons. And that I want to say they said, you know, it would be like before the year ended. So some point over the course of this year, they'll have other ways for those weapons to be earned.
Hopefully, yeah. I like they tweaked the loot pool right now for the two we mentioned in the TWAB. Like, it just seems cool to just tweak the loot pool. This is where a continuous wave-based mode from season to season or DLC to DLC would be cool, because it's like new boss, you know, here's some old loot on the old boss. You know, I don't know, just a structure like that. Obviously, they're not going to want to necessarily bring back everything, referring back to our, agency to the wanting the loot in that season. But it'd be cool if we see, you know, chunks of them or handfuls of them come back around so you can try to earn them.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a good question. We have no for sure answer.
Yeah.
From Bungie.
We'll keep you updated.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll probably put some details out. I don't know.
They probably don't
may
even
not
know
tell
yet.
us before the end of the season, but we'll see.
Yep.
Another Discord question. Inept Old Fart writes, a question about linked accounts and clan membership. If a Guardian linked their Xbox to their Steam account and wishes to change the clan alliance, does it make a difference which account they use to join the new clan? i.e., can they now join with Xbox and it will follow to their Steam, or do they have to stay Steam to Xbox? To make matters more confusing, there's a different... He has different gamer tags on two systems. This is for a friend of his. So let's try to pick this apart. If you link your Xbox and Steam account and wish to change the clan alliance,
don't you have to do it on your primary platform, right? Isn't that the way it was before?
Yeah, so if we're talking about
Clans.
cross-play, then it will matter when you crossplay. So if you have a main account and you're cross-playing on multiple platforms, whatever account you use for crossplay, whatever clan that account is in, is the clan you'll be in when you play on those other platforms with that account. If you have more than one account, i.e. gamer tag, and you play on those different characters on different platforms, it's like you're on the old system. Nothing's changed, right? Mm-hmm. You can be in multiple clans, etc. But if you're on cross save, whatever clan you join is the clan you're going to be in for all those accounts. I guess that's the easiest way for me to explain that.
Yeah, no.
Does that answer that question?
I believe so. That the first part of that. I don't think yeah, I mean, no, it really answers it all, because the differing gamer tags shouldn't really come into play unless it's
unless he is not cross playing.
Right.
Like
exactly.
That's the key.
Because then you got to tell
the
game you're in each, you're in the clan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know there's still some confusion about crossplay and clans and which clan you kind of just have to pick where you play the most, I think.
Right.
Unless your clan has just a good mix of each platform. But the cool thing is, no matter where you play, like, it counts towards your clan progress, like for XP and rewards and stuff like that. So you're not losing anything if you go play a little bit on PlayStation and nobody is in your clan there. Like, your progress is still matters and all that. So, DerpFam Discourse. If you want to send us some of your own, you can do that by sending an email, destinyresetpodcast@gmail.com. You can send us a SpeakPipe, which is like a voicemail, speakpipe.com/destinyreset, or you can go to our Discord channel like these two gents. It is called Derp Show Questions is the name of the channel. The Discord is discord.gg/destinyreset, where you can come join if you're not a member and hang out with some other cool guardians. So send us your DerpFam discourse. We'd like to hear from you. What's going on with you and Destiny? What do you think about things we talked about on the show, like Haunted Forest and Eververse and Heavy in the Crucible? Let us know your thoughts, and it can be featured right here.
All the things. That reminds me of when we were talking about I don't even know. Something we were talking about a minute ago reminded me of starting my kiddo's new character. It was weird. I'd heard somebody talk about this. Maybe it was Joe. Finishing the first mission and then just being in the tower.
Right.
And like all the NPCs wanted to talk to you, and there wasn't really much else. And it's like, wow, can you imagine?
Just kind of
like not having
there.
Any idea. Anyways, just a random.
I keep
little
running
tidbit.
across like tweets somehow of you know how Twitter's algorithm will like recommend if a bunch of people like it that you follow. And I just every week I keep running across tweets from people playing Destiny for the first time. and they're like, some of the stuff they just notice is hilarious. Like, they'll notice for the first time, like, oh, there's
just so much stuff you learn over the years.
Like,
yeah, there's some things that Bungie, I'm sure, could make more clear, and then there's, I'm sure, a ton of things that isn't really feasible for them to even think about being able to make clear that we've just learned over the years. Different things just because of this game. For example, I taught my kiddo that you could only have one exotic equipped at one time. It's like just the little stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember in Destiny 1, like the first week or two, even learning what exotic weaponry was.
Yeah, like, because your brain, from any other game, you want to throw yellows exotics on every slot. That's what your goal is, but not in Destiny. You're limited to one in each side. Yep. Classic stuff.
To be a kindergarten again.
Mm-hmm. Long time ago.
Do we have any patron shout-outs this week?
We do, yeah. We got 2 new patrons. We got a couple pending out there, just waiting on some messages back. But 2 this week for the shout-out. We got Goodfella _Texas, TX. And then we got Wine Mech. Thank you so much, Guardians.
Yeah, thank you for
Appreciate
becoming patrons. If you don't know what a patron is, go to patreon.com/Destiny Reset. For as little as $1 a month, you can support the production budget of our show. And you get a few perks if you do. You get a shout out on the podcast, you get a gamer tag on our website, and an invitation to a Discord channel just for Dirt Fan patrons and supporters. As always, thank you to each of you that give month after month. Support our show. Makes a big difference.
Thanks so much.
All right, man. Well, great show. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and YouTube at AER0KNIGHT with a 0.
Yep, you can find me on the Twitters, CyborgSasquatch. You can find us at Destiny Reset on Twitter. You can find us on the web as well, www.destinyresetpodcast.com. It's your source for all things DRP, including links to subscribe on your favorite podcast app of choice. And then finally, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, go leave us a review, because we've got a whole bunch of them, and we really appreciate them when you leave us nice, encouraging notes or constructive feedback sometimes.
Of course, all is welcome. I did the Dirt Fam. Go ahead, Cyborg. Shout these.
Oh, yeah,
Guardians
we've got
out.
some reviews this week. Kiwi Samurai, Phythex, and Pimp Schnizzle. Thank you for your reviews. And
Thank you, Guardians.
if you do that, it helps us get seen and heard by more listeners just like you. So thank you for leaving your reviews. Fun week in Destiny. Fun week here on the show.
Yes, it has been. My voice has only dropped out a couple of times, so we made it. So.
You hung in there.
Yes, I need some water, though. My water's gone.
Okay.
Anyways, of course, until next reset, have fun playing Destiny 2, and take care, Guardians.